So welcome to the Nonsense Nexus. X, she's Ree, and we're going to jump into a new episode or installment of Flicks and Giggles. We're catching up from the holiday season. We've had a lot going on between Christmas and New Year's, so we got to play a little catch up with Sonic the Hedgehog 3. So what we'll do is I want to just kind of set a trend for Flicks and Giggles going forward, where we'll have a little bit more of a pattern to what we do. So I'm going to start with the little technical stuff that I like, your not billboards, your box office stuff, and then just kind of go into what was good, what was bad, and an overall opinion. And then anything Easter eggy, we'll break that down as we walk through this little review, and then wrap it up with a bow for a nice close. Easily one of the biggest movies of the Christmas season, and I definitely want to talk a little bit about it because we've got a movie here that on the surface you've got a nice kids movie, very family friendly, and it handles themes of like family, and particularly what I think is driving home. It still does its whole through line of your chosen family and the family you choose to be with. And then this one adds in notes of, not even notes, is a big scoop of trauma and loss and dealing with that, which gives it some heavy things to talk about. And it comes with the featured character in it. Can't talk about Shadow the Hedgehog and not have trauma and loss involved. But let's just blast right off with, let's hit our first impressions on how this movie just hit us. I'm going to turn it over to you. Ree, how did it hit you? Because you actually went to the theater for this one.
Yeah, I've been to the theater for every Sonic movie. One, just because, I love Sonic. Two, my son actually loves Sonic probably more than me now, than I ever did, because he has the wonderful world of YouTube to look at everything. But I went and took my son and I took my nephew, who both love him. And I would say I enjoyed it. I had fun. It was great. They had fun. I mean, Knuckles is always hilarious. I feel like Knuckles is like getting to my favorite just because of this whole thing. Knuckles is awesome. The only I wouldn't even say complaint. I feel like when I say something about this movie that I dislike, it's at probably its lowest form, maybe. But I was cool with everything except when it was the scenes with basically just Jim Carrey. Like, usually I love him. He did well in the other movies, no arguments, but it was the introduction into his grandfather, which was necessary of the story, but it was just not, it felt like it went too long on their scenes. And I just wasn't like, as soon as it would go back, cut to them, it wasn't like as good as I wanted it to be, or something was off. Like, I have to really sit and think about why I'm really annoyed by this character. But, and it wasn't just because you could tell he was going to, obviously he was going to be the villain or whatever. But it was just the fact of, like, I don't know. It was just weird. I could have done, like, without, if they lessened those appearances and just did the necessary of them, could have done it well. I think I would have been happier, but it was still fun. It was still goofy, I loved, I don't want to spoil anything, but I loved a certain part with both of them when they weren't speaking at all.
I know exactly what part you're talking about.
Yes, I very much enjoyed it. Me and my nephew were dancing, so we were getting along.
I think goofy's the right word for some of that.
Yeah.
There's definitely parts where the director clearly said to Jim Carrey, hey, just pop off, just go.
Right.
You do whatever you'll do. We'll make it work in post. Just pop off and go. So we definitely got that. So like $122 million budget for this. That is small these days for particularly a part 3 and for a big budget item. So I think that's extremely respectable. And I think that's exactly the right price point for a movie like this. And a CGI heavy movie like this. Like, that's pretty darn good. Especially since 50% of your cast are cartoon characters. So like you're going to be spending money every single scene to make sure they're rendered right. Sonic seemed fuzzier than previous movies in this one. I think his gloves looked like they were felt, and I was like, I think you have textures where you don't need them. I think you could have scaled that back a bit, but that might just be my brain messing with me. And it's so far still running. It's north of 300 million. So this movie checks all the boxes. It did its job. Came out, made big money, embarrassed Mufasa, and is hardcore running. So.
I ain't mad at it.
So good job, Sonic.
Right.
And now kind of go into just kind of chopping up the pros and cons a bit. I'll segue with this. Like, it was 110 minutes, and I felt that it was 110 minutes. It wasn't quite 2 hours. And I feel like it probably would have been shorter if the director didn't say to Jim Carrey, hey, man, I put 20 minutes into this movie just for you. I really think that because, oh, wow. But I got 8 things. 8 things I classify as bad about it. So I want to voice.
So we're going to start with the bad?
I'm going to start with the bad and then roll from there. So, like, I will also have to point out some of these are spoilery. So we'll have to skip through. This is spoiler. This is non-spoiler. So.
Okay.
I didn't divide them in my notes between spoiler and not spoilery. I can do that now live looking at them. So, first and foremost, we have the introduction of the new character, Gerald Robotnik, which is Ivo Robotnik's grandfather, right? So, if Ivo Robotnik exists, he has to have a father and a mother, right? And if Maria was also the grandchild of Gerald Robotnik, and she's like the catalyst for why he's all super crazy genocidal evil. Does he just not care about his other grandchild or his son or daughter? Like, I have questions about that. It's really not that bad of a thing. It just seems like there's something not being said here, and I don't necessarily like it because it's like, why is this dude all crazy horse evil? Because, oh, my granddaughter is dead. You don't care about your grandson at all? You don't care about your son and or daughter? Likely a son because they all have the Robotnik name. But, so I figured that the introduction of him knowing he has a grandson, which he somehow knew because he was in a prison cell this whole time, so he clearly had to have some prior knowledge, should have mitigated his overwhelming nihilistic rage against the whole world. But for plot reasons, no, it doesn't. He just...
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, of course, there's questioning, and I think it's like, I don't even think that was explained ever.
Yeah, I just glossed right over that.
So we don't know if Maria and Robotnik are cousins or brother and sister.
Sounds like they would be brother and sister since they described them both as his grandchildren.
Yeah, but he could have another daughter or, you know what I mean? Or another.
Sister, that's still brother.
So that's what I'm saying. There's more questions than not. And I don't think they'll ever, whatever. But there is that thing of like, okay, so he has the granddaughter. Granddaughter's not with the parents, meaning the parents died. So that probably is his sister.
Probably.
More likely than not.
Probably.
But and the thing that I had quickly seen, it was like, he was locked up and just lost all his sanity. So
totally, yeah.
Like that, I feel like that's an easy out. And of course, that's such a video, like especially prior to that or like early 2000s game shit. It's like, oh, this is just what happened. That's what it is. Run with it. Oh, and that's it. So, anyways.
And aside from the 2 Jim Carrey performances, which were a thing, I don't feel like the non CGI characters, if you were a human being, I don't think you had really much to do in this movie. Like, I think you could have taken Tom and Maddie out of it entirely and saved a little time effort. Like, they didn't have anything to do. Like, no, I'm sorry. Jim Carrey is chewing up every scene he's in. There's no room for you, Cyclops from X-Men 1. There's no room for you, bro. I'm sorry.
I like them. Honestly, the little parts, I did like them.
I mean, they're there, but my camera's not. But so now I want to spoilery. My other complaints get spoilery. So at this moment, these are not what normal people consider spoilers. I think I just am very sensitive to them. But at this point here, I'm going to get spoilery. Shadow is a brooding edgelord before Maria. Like, did you see him in the lab? Like, he wasn't chipper and spunky and happy. He was very, very, very dark and brooding anyway, which is his entire brand. Blah. So why is it such a big deal that the one person he had a connection with died, and then 50 years of just sitting to stew in it is his whole thing? Like, you had nobody before her. We don't know how long. You got nobody after her. It seems like a return to normal for your dark, brooding punk. For your shadowy self.
I get that. I'm with it. I'm 100% with it. It's the one thing that melted his heart, and then you took it away, which what happens when people are kind of, brooding and stuff prior. They're like, oh, you took the one good thing in my life. I'm going to go back to darkness. Like, totally understandable.
But he wasn't a world-threatening genocidal maniac before her. Like, he went back worse than he started for having known her. And it's like, all right, bro. I think
it's because the hatred that they captured him first. It's not the world, it was Gunn.
Which makes sense. But he was rolling with a whole
So then it turned into Gunn, and then took away his human person. And then it was like, oh, I just hate all humans.
Right.
Like, all of you suck.
And went along with a plan to destroy the world.
Yeah, I think they kind of should have explained a little bit more prior, because he was like, they touched on, I don't know where I came from, and didn't dive a little bit more into that, which they probably should have.
I would need that to justify that wild swing towards total global genocide. And
on that, I do have a thing. You might mention it, so hopefully I remember to mention it. Okay, go.
Another one, heavy spoiler. So we just talking on the moon now? Like, I can understand Supersonic and Sonic the Hedgehog and Shadow. These are not humans, right? They can do impossible things, and they are not of Earth. So surviving in space, okay, I'm with it. But talking on the moon, there is no oxygen there. There is nothing for the vibrations to carry. Stop that.
They're aliens.
It breaks my immersion.
They're aliens.
They would have to have adapted
telepathy. I would say. Listen, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I was like, why aren't they icicle-y? Why aren't they like anything like that? I get it. I do. But then I was like, okay, they're aliens. Let's just say that and just go with it. Like, that's what I had to do.
Further nitpicking towards the end of the movie. I don't think they were high enough in orbit for Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles to have to worry about re-entry and get all scorched as they're coming in. I don't think they were high enough in the outside the atmosphere for that. Yep, me nitpicking.
But they're super fast.
This is me nitpicking.
I would say, okay, I would say it's because they're super fast.
Probably. But like Sonic got knocked out of supersonic mode and just started to fall.
Oh yeah, so and him
like,
and
I don't think he was moving fast enough to have that level of friction to have that happen. Tails maybe because Knuckles threw him. Knuckles because he probably dived down there. Whatever. And then my final thing that just like is my final no me gusta. Shadow the Hedgehog is a Mary Sue, and I've never liked him ever. I understand he is an edgelord, brooding, dark character befitting the 2000s era of like generation he is designed to cater to. I get that, but he's still at the end of the day a Mary Sue, and he's an unlikable Mary Sue. There, I said it. I don't have any of. I could go on a 45-minute rant about that stupid hedgehog. I'm not going to. All right, so, do you have any negatives?
Wait. One question about that, because I think, okay, let me just say this though. Shadow shoes, I want.
Skates.
I want Shadow shoes. Skates. They're so cool.
His inline rocket skates.
Dude, so cool. I'm almost thinking of making one of my characters on the First Descendant to kind of replicate Shadow.
Oh, wow.
You might hate it. Don't care.
Oh, wow.
But anyway.
I know, I get he looks cool, but I just don't like him.
I do have a question on that. So, prior to the movie, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like I hate it like I hate, I don't know, vegan turkey. Um, where were you at with Shadow? And then after the movie, where were you at with Shadow?
My opinion of Shadow hasn't changed since Sonic Adventure 2, which is what this movie really just was. It's the exact same thing. I feel the same way about him. Like, God, I hope this character doesn't stick around. I hope this one doesn't work. Why can't he fade into oblivion like Silver the Hedgehog? But no, apparently he's liked. Okay, you're allowed to like him. I'm not going to say you're stupid for liking him. I'm saying I do not like a dark, brooding, unlikable Mary Sue character. All right.
Okay, all right. Moving on.
That's all I had. Those are my 8 things that I had. I think I said all 8 of them.
Okay, so then on that, since you didn't mention
one more. Last one.
Oh, okay.
Tails didn't have much to do in this movie either.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, well, no, sort of, maybe, if you want to count it. But that might go into the theme of it all.
The thumb drive thing that he did?
That was all Tails contributed to the show. I'm just saying, not to, because I don't know what you're going to mention, but he did, I think his whole purpose was to be the one to, spoiler, remind Sonic, like, bro, you're a team. Because Tails is all about the team. He always has been. Because Knuckles wasn't like that. Sonic wasn't like that. Tails is the team.
Yeah.
And
that was all he did.
You know, arguably.
He was that.
He should be the leader. Let's be real. Tails should be the leader.
He's like, too young.
He's too young, but has a right state of mind about certain things. Come on now.
Yes. He's also
and he's smarter. He's also smarter than both of them.
Yep, but
he's
also
smarter than all of them.
He's light orange with frosted tips.
I'm not even going there. Oh, okay. But what I was gonna mention, okay, I got Mocha yelling at me, and okay. Anyways, so the one thing that bothered me because Shadow said, spoiler, again, that he doesn't know where he came from, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then he sees Sonic in Tokyo. And instead of being like, oh, there's another one like me, I'm not a freak. Because that was his whole thing. He was like, oh, I don't want to be seen as a freak. I don't want to be seen as dangerous. Do you think I'm dangerous? Do you think I'm a freak? Or whatever he said. And instead of being like, holy shit, there's another one like me. He's like, nah, you work for Gun. I hate you. Like, what? You just made that quick assumption. You weren't like, hey, why do you work for Gun? Or who are you? Where did you come from? Like, what the hell? And instead, and Sonic didn't do it either. Sonic was just like, what the hell? You look like me, but you are a bad guy, so I'm going to get you. Instead, and usually he is inquisitive about things, but he was like, he didn't once ask, hey, where did you come from?
Yeah.
Because he's not the only one. And Sonic has always been the thing, like, he's alone. I mean, the person or thing that raised him was an owl. Like, how did they not have that conversation?
Or have any curiosity to ask each other about it. Yeah, it's that's
the thing that killed me. I was like, oh, they could have done so much. But I understand they were going along the storyline of Sonic 2 or whatever the heck it was.
Just like in
Sonic Adventure or whatever it was. Yeah. So whatever. But anyways, okay.
So
I'm done with my.
That was all the bad things I had about it. Some of those weren't even that bad. It's not like there were any cardinal sins against humanity in the movie, really. The good things, I have 4 good things I want to point out that like stand out amongst that overall a movie I'm clearly very impressed with. Like back to that theme I talked about. They talked about the theme. Like I talked about family and your chosen family versus the family you're given. There's 3 main lines about this that I picked up on. One, like Sonic. Sonic starts in the high point. He not only has a new family he's adopted, but he's expanded it. So he has Todd and Maddie from the first movie. Instead of him being alone in a hole in the ground, he's moved into their house and is welcomed into this new unit. Then you expand it to Tails. You expand it to Knuckles. So he's got brothers and pseudo parent situation in a whole home. So he starts high. So we have to bring him to a low point for a turning point in the movie as we get into Act 3 to kind of give Sonic something to do. Otherwise, he's perfect the whole time. And then you got Shadow, who's been empty, had 1 point on the board of a friend, and lost that. So he's super low. And then you got Robotnik, who's fully developed as a full adult human well into his life. But he's got gaps, obviously, in how he feels about family. So those 3 things dominate the movie, and way more Robotnik than anywhere else because
and Robotnik's assistant.
So what?
And Robotnik's assistant.
Well, yeah, he plays into Robotnik's whole theme because Robotnik has.
I mean, that's more of an unrequited love of some sort.
Oh yeah, like this dude thought he was
so
your
sad.
homie, not just your assistant, and you just been like, you took forever to acknowledge it. Because, like, Robotnik has gaps. He's like, oh, no one liked me. No one's ever found me pleasant except the person who's clearly found you pleasant is hanging out with you this whole time. You got gaps because you've been blind to it. And all those through lines led to Sonic having to make that classic choice. Like, do I go dark and compromise who I is to end Shadow's life? Okay, so I don't like Shadow. I'm on record saying that. The most satisfying moment in the movie was when Sonic finally punched that dude in the face because that's what Shadow needs most. Humbled. He needs a haymaker to the jaw to knock him down a peg so he gets likable. He has a punchable face and it needs punched. And Sonic punched it, which was like, yes, I almost cheered. But Sonic had to go low and be like, oh no, this isn't me, and pull out of it. Classic hero route. Shadow didn't understand that he was in control of his own character. So he has to be low till he hits the point of like, oh, wait a minute, I can turn and go high. And then that's his thing. And Robotnik has been low this whole time and didn't even know he had a choice. And his entire life could have gone totally different because he's been blind to the fact that he could have had what Sonic had. Because Agent Stone has been his homie this whole time. He could have been broed up with this dude. And then he thinks, oh, I have my birth family. That's naturally supposed to be more important. Wrong. And towards the end, does the right thing. So I think that was the most interesting thing kind of written into the movies. You have those 3 paths kind of on the same road, but all taking a different lane.
Along with, because Robotnik has been humbled a couple of times.
Oh, goodness, yes.
So that's where he was at. So, there's a reason for that.
He just thought because this is his biological grandfather, he could fill in the whole VR sequence. He could fill in all these gaps that were missing before. Like, Sonic understood the overall lesson. You got to let go of some of that stuff behind you because you can't get it back. It's gone. But you can build forward and take the good things you remember and move forward. And that's the whole message of the movie, which is cute. Second thing I think is an overall good point. This is a very faithful plot adaptation. That's the word, not adaptation. Adaptation. Very faithful. I have never wanted to plug in my Dreamcast and play Sonic the Adventure 2 more than I have today. Plain and simple. And then another good thing is like, you'll probably disagree with me a little bit on this. Jim Carrey is one of the most appropriately named actors in Hollywood because the man carries a movie. Like, there was probably 40 minutes of actual movie involving Sonic here, and then a little bit of filler, and then just plenty of room for Jim Carrey to just go wild. And he went wild, and most of it was amusing. Give me that fourth wall break. That was cute. We already put the spoiler declaration up, so I'm not withholding anything. Was the dance number necessary?
I feel like it was. I thought that shit was funny as hell. How was that? Like, I think it was just the song. I really liked the song.
I'm sitting here watching it, and I was like, so I'm supposed to sit here and believe? Not that a 90-something-year-old man was hitting a running man. Nope, that wasn't the problem. I'm supposed to believe that they have suits that can reflect these lasers. Nope, that wasn't the problem. The thing I didn't believe was like, oh, so not a single laser hit one of them and their exposed bald heads and cut their head open.
That's okay. That's where I was at as well. But I mean, it was so silly. I think Jim Carrey in when they found him again and to show him, oh, he's alive. Hilarious.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, he had really good parts. I did like the dancing scene. I really did. And I think could be because of the song was super corny, cute, whatever. It was a little bit longer than it should have been. I thought it would have been more funnier if they were dancing and then Tails was like, oh, it looks like there's two people on their way or whatever. And then they're like, what are they doing?
Oh, if Tails had been watching them on a monitor being like, yep, they're doing the routine and just really commented on that. That would have been funny.
And then cut to that would have been funny as hell. But it was a little too much straightforward. But I liked it. I just didn't like it was I don't know why. I can't get on board with it was too much grandpa. I did not like him as the grandpa. I really didn't.
Well, he was designed to be unlikable. He was the real villain of the movie.
I know, but it wasn't even the acting part about it. It was just I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But anyways.
So yeah, overall, they should have just called the movie Sonic Adventure 2 instead of Sonic 3. They should have just called it that because it really just lived by that game. But my overall takeaways, the Sonic films maintain a pretty high quality of movie. They're all good. I don't have a problem seriously against any of them. They all have things that are wrong with them. If you're CinemaSins, you can sin some stuff for sure, but I think they are all very, very enjoyable and I like them. The voice acting is solidly good. Just no one performs bad in them. There's no one that just shows up and says, I don't care. I'm just here to get my check. No, I feel like everyone's committed. I just think going forward, some people don't need to come back for the next movie. There's no room for you. I'm starting to get a little overloaded with characters, and I think that was smart to start cutting some out, even though we only really lost one, maybe two characters this movie. And I fully recommend it. And if you owned a Sega Dreamcast and played Sonic Adventure 2, I think you are required to go see this movie in theaters. I think, because I'm pretty sure everyone who had a Dreamcast had Sonic Adventure 2, and I think you should go see this, truthfully. And, it was on GameCube, I don't care.
I fully agree. I love all the movies. I wouldn't say this was the best one out of the three, but I like them all. Mm-hmm. And the thing I like about it most is I can watch them over and over again and still enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's my thing. And even the show Knuckles on Paramount, I can watch that shit. It is so corny and it's so funny and it's fun and it's just, I don't know. I really enjoy it.
Knuckles is my favorite anyway, so I'm with it. I'm glad Knuckles got it.
I don't know if you want to talk about this now for just a short amount of time because I don't know too much about it. But the rumor of Disney wanting to buy Sonic rights or Paramount or something like that, I would rage if that happens.
Disney won't because Disney. I mean, Paramount
successful.
Paramount just did their merger. Paramount just merged with Skydance?
CBS.
Skydance and Paramount merged. But Paramount just got saved. This just got through with a merger, so I don't think they're for sale at this moment. I don't think Disney's going to shell out the billions of dollars necessary to change their mind. Because they're still billions in the hole from 2023 summer. So I don't think they're really loose with the goose with the cash right now, but I think they're safe for the time being. I'm not into it. Let me do my thing and call it a food, and then we'll talk about Easter egg.
Oh, fine, go ahead.
Gave me good stuff. I really wanted to call this movie a chili dog. I really, really did. I really did because it's Sonic, and I really wanted to. But when I think about it, and my whole little metaphoring for food thing, this movie is an ice cream sundae. It really, really is.
Oh,
Because, a sundae is, the classic one. Your vanilla ice cream, soft serve or hard scoop, doesn't matter. And then your toppings sprinkled or drizzled over it, topped with something. And this movie is a solid, basic vanilla ice cream foundation. The whole themes of family and your pain doesn't define who you are. It's a very vanilla message at this point in movies. But it's good. Vanilla ice cream isn't good. It's the standard. Then you build on top of that. It's just an okay flavor. Because there are better flavors. Orange creamsicle.
no.
And then
Okay,
you sprinkle on top of that sundae, everything else stacked on top of this movie is good, good, and good. Performances, effects, Easter eggs. That's your fudge. Those are your sprinkles and nuts, and then cherry on top, letting Jim Carrey pop off and go really, really hardcore and come out of retirement to go full throttle Carrey. Like, that's why I think it's a sundae, and it's almost too much stuff on top of it, but it's not. It stops short of being too much. So that's my food assessment of Sonic Adventure 2. Sorry, of Sonic 3.
Well, cool assessment. Although I love vanilla. I can eat vanilla. Vanilla is my favorite.
It's good. You'll never see me order like a Rocky Road or a cookies and cream or a mint chocolate chip. Those are not me ice creams. I don't even do butter pecan. I do vanilla, and then I get into sorbets and sherbets because I like raspberry things. So
yeah, you do.
Now let me just geek out. Talk about these assorted references, nods, and Easter eggs, mostly to the video games. But let me get one that's not video game related out of. The fact Sonic did get to say "gotta go fast" made me think of my homegirl, who is basically my cousin at this point, and her son. Years ago, Jack was watching the Sonic Extreme show, and the theme song "Gotta Go Fast," and he just hit him. And I think millions of little kids running around the Americas.
Yes.
This boy was just saying gotta go fast for days. And I knew it was just wearing on her will to survive. And it was amusing to me. And that brought an ear to ear grin on my face in the theater. I was like, I thought of Jack immediately. I was like, gotta go fast. Yeah, that was cool. But that's a TV show, video game stuff.
That was my son and my nephew. And yes, I love Sonic, but damn.
The Green Hill zone is the hometown. So that's been there since the first one. And then the theme song from that level being someone's ringtone or alarm thing. Cute. Picked up on that. Sonic eating a chili dog at the start of the race at the beginning of the movie. Yep, very on brand. Oh, wait, one of my bad things. I didn't actually say it. I lost track. Because it's related to this. Dr. Robotnik finally got his game-accurate suit on at the end.
Oh, yes.
Looking just like the game.
Yes.
And that was cool, but the reason I have it on my bad list is his grandpa just happened to have a suit that was the size his adult grandson that he didn't really acknowledge existed would be, so it fit him perfectly. He just had that on deck, and he knew what color. Okay. So that was another tiny gripe, but a gripe. Shadow's whole thing. Every flashback, everything involving Gerald Robotnik and Maria, that was just straight out the game onto screen. Cool. So I'm counting that as a reference.
Question though. I don't know if he's right or wrong, but my child said Maria actually got shot, not
exploded.
Right.
Yeah, it's a stray bullet hit her or something like that. That's fine.
That's what I was thinking. It was going to be the ricochet from whatever hit, but it implied that it was the explosion.
In a game, you can shoot kids. In a movie, you frown on that.
Well, that's what I had told him, and he was like, Robotnik said, damn, what is it? I was like, it's not the same. But, okay.
The literal ending of Sonic Adventure 2 played out. The big Robotnik-faced looking space death station flying up, shooting a laser beam, Supersonic, Super Shadow flying up the door. I was like, yeah, that happened in the game. I remember that. I played through that. What's the name of the song? Live and Learn being played 3 or 4 times in the movie. I was like,
yes.
Oh, wow. I didn't think that was going to happen. Am I going to get to hear his world in the next movie? Just questioning. Sonic and Shadow hitting their pose from the several promotional materials of Sonic and Shadow pose. That happened.
2 of them, didn't it?
Yeah. Sonic and Super Sonic and Super Shadow one, and then the regular one for the 2 of them. I was like, oh, wow. I'm sure people cheered somewhere. Not in my boring experience, but that's because I waited too long to see it, and that's on me. Also, Escape the City, the first level of Sonic Adventure 2, that song was played on the piano in the movie. And that's what I looked at Kelly. I was like, I wish you could get all these little references and geek out with me, but that's okay. Referring to themselves as Team Sonic just made me go, yeah, Sonic Team makes the Sonic games. I know, it's cool. Mm-hmm. That was fun. The Death Crab, that was a boss in Sonic Forces. Look, I only played half of that game once. It's one of the worst Sonic games, in my opinion, but I remember that. Shadow got to ride a motorcycle and have guns in his hands for no reason at all. But cool, he did that.
Cool, okay.
Knuckles and Ghosts. I
was like, Justin.
Very, very amusing. I resonate with that, but also Knuckles in the Sonic Adventure 2 level, what is his name? Big Boo Bomb, Big Boo. So there was a ghost boss that kind of was a thing for him, and I was like, ooh, okay, I get it. They had a whole ass Chow Garden.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I sunk a lot of time into my chows on my Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. So that was cool. The line Sonic said when he jumps out the helicopter, he called their flight or their airline low budget because there was no food or snacks or movie.
Right.
That was either a really close adaptation or that was a line. Was the line from the start of Sonic Adventure 2 because he jumps out the helicopter and then surfs on the street with a snowboard on concrete. Okay. I'm running out. There are two credit sequences, mid-credit and end-credit. And mid-credit one is the one I'm going to get super hype about because I had a Sega CD. For Amy Rose and Metal Sonic to show up, I was just like, yes! Sonic CD is one of the best Sonic games ever made, and if you've never played it, go. Change your life and play it. It's one of the best Sonics ever made. And that's where Amy first shows up, and who's the main villain? It's technically Robotnik, but Metal Sonic is more the thing you're focused on. And that's cool. I don't think Amy's ever been that cool to take out multiple Metal Sonics with her hammer, but she was there with her hammer, so I was like, cool, Amy Rose shows up. So now Tails can stop being confused as female, because Amy can be openly female, and Tails can maybe get some bass in his voice. He's got a cool name. His name is Miles Prower, but he sounds like a kid all the time, like Tails. Get a little puberty in you. Come on, man.
I'll be mean to my baby.
Tails became my favorite character in Sonic 2 over Sonic. And then Sonic 3 came and Knuckles stole his thunder. But then Sonic, overall wins it in every game afterwards. But, so yeah, Amy plus Metal Sonic makes me think Sonic CD. And I'm like, is that the game they're going to really adapt? Because this is where I'm done with my little references. So I'm going to go tinfoil hat time. Here's what I think Sonic 4 is going to be.
Okay.
I think Sonic 4 is going to pick up that Robotnik just got exploded in this big prominence of chaos energy, right? What if that prominent chaos energy threw him into an alternate timeline in another world? And that's where Amy's from. And he's been there making trouble. And then Amy's come to find Sonic, the only thing that can stop Robotnik. And Robotnik knows that. So he made Metal Sonic to go Terminator style, go back and keep Sonic from stopping him in his whole new world. And that's what Sonic 4 is going to be. And they're going to adapt the Sonic CD story into a movie that way. That's what I walk out the theater thinking, and that was part of the reason I had an ear-to-ear grin like, oh, I like where they're going because I think this. I'm going to be wrong. I'm going to just say that now. That's my prediction. I'm going to be wrong.
It's too, off thing because that's almost like an X-Men situation where it was such a huge explosion. Other worlds got intertwined with some shit. Yeah, So, I mean...
Because where else would we get Metal Sonic from? Because Metal Sonic is like Robotnik's greatest creation ever. So I hope we'll see. Maybe, fingers crossed. I'd like that. But they're clearly making another movie. And then final end sequence is, oh, Shadow's not done. Yay.
You got this. Such a hater.
Yay. Somebody likes him. It's not me. And I'm not saying if you like Shadow, there's something wrong with you. That's not. He's just not made for me. So
I know.
I am decades removed from birth date to be a tailor for what Shadow was built to appeal to. I'm just not feeling him. I'm sorry. But if you want to make another movie and he gets punched in the face again, yes, I will pay money to see Shadow the Hedgehog get punched in the mouth over and over again.
Okay. I mean, that's how you feel, and that this is a safe space.
This is the internet. Ain't no safe spaces here.
But no, I mean, I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited because I mean, it's not going to disappoint. We already know it's not going to disappoint, no matter what it is.
I mean, I don't know all that. There was a time I'd say that about Avengers movies, but they can too disappoint.
If you have done 3 movies, all successful, all fun, and a sideshow without Sonic and it's successful, I don't see a bad situation, honestly.
Nah, man, that can happen.
It can. I'm not saying that it's going to. I'm thinking it's not. And I don't. Okay, now I'm afraid I'm jinxing it because now your face is making me afraid. But I mean, in the next couple of years, all I'm saying is, without getting into crap, these next couple of years, we're gonna need a good movie to laugh and enjoy.
For sure.
So I'm with it. I'm with it.
I just if we can just get Metal Sonic, which we got, Amy, cool. Can we just avoid the whole extended roster of Sonic characters? I don't need, what is his name? Bark the dog or Bean the duck. What's that green duck's name? Whatever. I don't need them. I don't need Knack the coyote. I don't need, even though I like her, Blaze the cat. I don't need them.
Yeah,
Cream the bunny. Come on now.
That is a little fear. I don't want them to go Disney and start trying to obviously milk a situation. But in this case, it's like it's going by the games, so people are going to watch it. So there is some sort of a reason other than milking for money. I just think it's a dangerous, slippery slope. So hopefully you're right and they don't do all that extra shit. But, you know, what are they going to do? Stop the movies?
Mighty Armadillo, SBO the Chameleon. I like SBO. He's a ninja. Vector the Crocodile, Charmy Bee, Ray the Flying Squirrel.
Why wasn't the Bio-Lizard part of the story? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, Bio-Lizard was in Sonic 3, right? Or Sonic, sorry, 2.
Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah.
Sonic Adventure 2, yep.
Mm-hmm.
So.
The final boss.
Okay. So why wasn't he part of it, you think? Because they knew they wanted to add Metal Sonic and stuff like that, so they didn't want to do too much?
They didn't. I don't think they had, like, think about how, like, effects budget to create a big CGI last boss creature and the big laser space station. I think budget might have helped inform the script a bit there. Because, like, Gerald Robotnik makes the Bio-Lizard, and it's a boss. It's a big deal, but...
And they probably took more away from the story of Robotnik and his grandfather and all this other stuff. So that makes sense.
But it's like...
That makes sense.
Did you need it? I don't think it was necessary. Because, like, your ending
and there
is
wasn't
still
with the
super
timeline.
cool.
There wasn't much time from the time that everything popped off to the time of everything happening. So, like, there wasn't much time
right
for all that. So, okay. All right, that was my only thing. But other than that, I mean, I liked it. I personally, as somebody that doesn't go to the theaters as often, um, it was worth it. I would say.
Now, so my final question: had you
Okay.
not seen it, would me talking about it today have persuaded you to go see it?
Oh, that's rough. I don't know because I've already seen the other ones in theater.
Okay. That's an experimental question.
I
We'll
would
ask that more later.
say, well, yeah, because you're in agreement with it. You're saying it's a good movie.
Yeah. It's a solid pick. It's a solid pick, for sure.
Yeah, truly. And I will say I've given a little bit more confidence in you because not that I didn't have any, but when you had mentioned when you did Beetlejuice review,
Mm-hmm.
and you had said if you liked the other Beetlejuice movies, you're going to like this one. That was accurate as fuck. Like
yeah,
it
that one
wasn't
was literally just
anything
Beetlejuice,
outside of the
yeah.
Beetlejuice scope. It was Beetlejuice. Like,
Yeah.
and if arguably a little bit better. Like, I think so. A little bit more funnier. So yeah, I have a newfound more confidence in your reviewing. So
I just got justified. Validation. Okay. But yeah, so we got a couple more movies coming up that we're looking forward to, and I'm gonna try and persuade Ree to see more of them and share the experience and regale you with our nonsense.
yes.
So do comment on how I am so wrong that Sato is cool in the comments and sell me on it. I don't hate him, and I do not like that cat crying in the background, but I just do not like him. And I still think Knuckles is the best out of those four. But who's your favorite out of the entire expanded Sonic roster? Somebody's got to like Bunny with her robotic arm and leg, or what's that little robot's name? Emilio, Emerald, something like that. Whatever. Thank you, and like, share, and subscribe. Let's talk about these characters in the comments and tell me why I'm wrong about Shadow.
All right.
Now, while she's right, why I'm wrong. I'm going to check sales numbers, but I don't think Shadows is selling that good. But whatever.
It's the third movie.
Peace.
Whatever.
On the mic, we got a podcast going as this Lexus. Yeah, the rhythm's always flowing. No need for logic, we're driving off the wall. Just kick back, relax, and let the chaos go. People talking nonsense, and they acting so foolish. Every topic, every discussion is a true bliss. From aliens to unicorns, we cover it all in this nexus of nonsense. We won't let you fall. Hey yo,